Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal particular channel here at YouTube. Now, normally for Wednesdays there is usually a review. However, since if you had seen my Nasty Metal podcast episode number 6, you would know that basically I'm just going off the cuff basically with this week. So whatever comes out is what comes out, and it's in its place for when it comes to, let's say, reviews. On this Wednesday, we have a collections update, and it's a all CD collection update. Also focuses on just rock and metal for this one. Maybe next week there might be a collection update, maybe for like miscellaneous genres and so on. But this is going to be all rock metal, so without further ado, let's definitely get right into it. So, the first CD up is, of course, INFIDEL from Ambush, and you can tell that when it comes to the collection for this update, it definitely had been piling. I've had this since around the time that this album was released. I mean, I did that review anyways of this album very months ago, so that just shows how long I've had this in my collection, and basically waiting for a collection update. And since I hadn't done it's been definitely a month since I have done a collection update, so it's just been time waiting to at least be shown in a collection update. So here we INFIDEL from Ambush, again released this year. And again, I kind of talked about that. I did a review of it anyways. Just a great fucking album. That's all I have to say. It's a fucking great album. Just great album from Ambush. Definitely really much... This is definitely a top contender for one of my top albums of this year. This is great stuff. So, INFIDEL from Ambush. Now, these next two, of course, is from the same artist, who, of course, thanks to, of course, Paul of Doomsday's Today Records. He, of course, is the one that introduced me to him. This, of course, is Doug STAPP, and these are the only two albums that he has released, which, of course, is Static, his very first album, and, of course, The Earth Says Hello, which, of course, I just did a review of this one when I got that box in from one of the first packages I got from Paul of Doomsday's Today Records. These two are in there, and of course I was I was requested to, of course, do the review, and I did it. So there is a review of this album anyways on this channel. Definitely just great fucking great instrumental hard rock. Just great fucking instrumental hard rock. Just great stuff. Very much in the same vein as like Ronnie Montrose. And I would say, I guess Steve Vai too, in that kind of same vein. Just great stuff all around. So, there we go. The Static and The Earth Says Hello from Doug STAPP. Now, these, of course, classics. I already did sealed reveal videos on these two. That, of course, is the recent reissues from Metal Blade for, of course, Melissa from Merciful Fate, and, of course, the 1982 self-titled EP, or sometimes referred to as Nuns Have No Fun. Just so glad to finally have these two in my collection. Just classic fucking releases from Merciful Fate. Just fantastic album releases. Again, one of my all-time favorite metal albums. I really shouldn't comment too much when it comes to my all-time favorite metal albums anyways. That's definitely going to be a topic for another video. Anyways, great fucking stuff here. Just great. Finally glad that Metal Blade had reissued these two. Though this one was a little bit more of a bitch to actually get because of, if you hadn't seen my Seal to Reveal, I definitely go into a little small detailing of how difficult it was to actually obtain this reissue. But either way, there's no complaining. I got all these two. So, yeah. Great fucking albums from Merciful Fate I'm finally glad to have on CD. Now, some of these other ones here are definitely were all stuff from, again, Paul of Doomsday's Today Records. I already showed the Doug Stapp CDs, but this first one was a part of that first package along with the Doug Stapp. This, of course, is Demise. This, of course, is titled Cursed for Eternity. And it was this was something that was released by Stormspell Records back in, what was the year date we have for this? I don't want to spend too much time. 2017, I guess, maybe? Can't fucking, they are, You know what, you probably already had seen the title anyways with the year date. Normally, Stormspell, I thought, would put the year dates in some of their CDs, but it seems like they didn't with this one. But this is Demise, a short-lived death thrash metal band from Portland, Oregon, and this is some good fucking death thrash. This is some great fucking shit right here. This is everything they even did. Everything they had ever recorded is on this CD. We got, of course, their Endless Torment demo from 1989, all the way up to, of course, their Sadistic Summoning demo from 1994, which was the very last thing they released. So from the late 80s to about 1994, they have lasted. This is all fantastic, and recordings by today's standards, definitely raw. But as far as when it comes to the presentation of these recordings, these are obviously good master recordings for some of these, for at least a time period. These are good quality demo recordings. But compared to these days, this is still pretty freaking raw. But it works to a lot of these songs' advantage. This is fantastic fucking death thrash. If you never heard of Demise and want to dig fucking, good old school death metal or thrash metal, this is fantastic. I recommend Demise a lot. I fucking recommend these guys. This is fantastic stuff. So there it is. Demise with Curse for Eternity. Alright, so the next CD up, of course, I'm wearing the t-shirt for this one anyways. And this was in the very last package I had received from Paul of Doomsday's Today Records. And when I say last, I mean it was definitely one of the more recent packages he had sent me. This, of course, is the most, and in many ways is still kind of his scene, even though I know there is going to be there is something else being released by Dawkins this year. But this, of course, was this was released in 2018. This, of course, is the Return to the East Live. This was basically the reunion with all four of the original, at least four of the members of the classic Dawkins lineup. Again, Don Dawkins, George Lynch, Mick Brown, and Jeff Pilson. And again, it is a live recording. They're with at least one studio recording and two acoustic versions and stuff on the first disc, which is all audio, and the second disc is basically the DVD with, of course, behind the scenes. I guess to put it at least at best, it's fun. This is actually not too horrible of a listen to actually. I know there's a lot of shit that was thrown towards this release. There was quite a bit of shit that was thrown at it from a lot of fans and so on. There was when you look at the response towards this album, it's not all it's definitely not very good. But me, I don't judge releases off of what people think. I judge it off of what I think. And upon listening to this, yes, for the most part, Don Dawkins for sure, he's not at his greatest these days. He's far from what he was in the 1980s. He doesn't have that kind of very very energetic. Doesn't sound like he's almost very much into it. He really does have there is definitely a lot of what's the word, strained in his voice. He does sound pretty much strained a bit. However, on the lower mid parts, when he's not trying to hit any of those higher parts, I mean, my God, the one thing he shouldn't be doing is trying to reach any of those notes. He's not capable of at this stage. He's not definitely capable of doing it. But when he's in his mid range, I don't think he's too bad. He's fine in that range. But when he tries to go any further, it just is like, I mean, he wasn't the perfect when it came to, of course, reaching really higher stuff. He wasn't always perfect when reaching some of those really higher notes, but he at least had the range back then to at least try and pull it off. These days, it's almost kind of not so much. That's just my pure honest opinion. But either way, though, I digress. This is definitely not bad sounding at all. I mean, yes, they are not at the game that they are in. I mean, still, George Lynch is definitely, along with Mick Brown and Jeff Pilson, they definitely seem to be one of the strongest points when it comes to this. I mean, it's nowhere near the performance that they have at least on Beast in the East from 1988. They are not at the same performance that they were at on that original live album. But here, for their age, this isn't too bad. Still, though, for Don, again, he's definitely past that. But still, I think there's at least some good compromising. As far as the DVD is concerned, I think I will have to regurgitate, I think, one comment saying that it basically is like a Frankenstein performance. The whole DVD itself is basically Frankenstein's monster. They basically went and did everything they could and basically combined the audio from the album, which, if you had seen the behind the scenes, they actually did kind of, it's almost faux live, actually, and that is kind of the really weird part about it, is that it's actually faux live, a lot of this. It's like they took the crowd, I think, noise from the actual show, I guess, maybe, but a lot of the performance is actually all in the studio, which is weird and bizarre. But again, they put it over actual live footage, and some of it is either what wasn't even, some of the footage was actually recorded in the States, whereas only 2 pieces of footage is taken from the actual footage they have recorded in Japan. I don't know what the fuck what were the ideas that came up with. It's really bizarre. It's still fun. It's still fun to watch, but in some ways, for those who want a good, authentic live recording, you're probably not going to get that. So I get the shit that it gets towards towards this. But still, it's fun to hear. It's definitely not too bad. Yeah, it's far from essential. I am actually glad to have this, but still, it's definitely one of those where it's definitely, I guess I'm gonna say, kind of curious to listen, just to kind of take a good of what is good, basically just a good look at where these guys are at this point in their stage. So, and definitely not bad. I'm definitely glad to have this doc and release in here, but it's definitely far from at least their best performance. Again, I also should comment, this was, of course, was from the box set, which was given to me. I actually have it up over here, over my desk, but there's the box. Alright, so let's definitely kind of move forward here. Next up again, this was a CD that was from the same box here. I know I talked quite a bit about the doc, and I definitely had quite a bit to say about that one. I could have saved that one for last. But this is, of course, Metal Minded, which is actually a new wave of British heavy metal CD compilation. However, this is really interesting. This is basically a reissue or a repress. Now, this was released in 87. This was released in 1987, but this is basically a repackaging of the 60 Minutes Plus comp that was released by Neat Records in 1982 on cassette. Hell, at one point, it was even repackaged that same year in Italy as All Hell Breaks Loose. And again, that was like was a repackaging of the 60 Minutes Plus. This is the same thing. This is basically a repackaging of the 60 Minute Plus compilation, just with minus a couple of songs or several songs, but replaced with 4 other songs that weren't on there. Like again, we got a song from Demon called Wonderland, which is off one of the more mid 80s albums. We got a song from the Swedish, I believe, no, Swiss band Stormbringer, who had released an album in 1981, and it got repackaged by Mausoleum Records in 1983, I believe, or 84. But it's Searchin' from Stormbringer. Then, of course, we got the song White Fire from Limelight, which was actually a song for that the band had recorded for a movie called White Fire, which I just seen over a month ago or so, actually. And again, if you're not familiar with Limelight, they had released an album called Ashes to Ash. I think it was originally self-titled in like 1980 or 1981, and it got repackaged again by Mausoleum Records in 1984, and it was titled Ashes to Ashes. And I think it added a extra track that was a B-side, but it doesn't add, of course, the song White Fire, which I think was released just at the same time that Mausoleum had released had repackaged it as Ashes to Ashes. But that was like the final thing that Limelight had recorded. So White Fire from them. Of course, we have then another song here from Dead Ringer called Coming Out Fighting, which is off the final full-length album that they had released. But still, this is a very fun album. Again, I was actually at one point was going to buy the CD copy of 60 Minutes Plus. However, do I have to? Even though it would be cool. But this is basically, again, it's just a repackage of the 60 Minute Plus compilation. So that's definitely really something that's very interesting. So there you go, Metal Minded. Now, I guess for the final two here, again, I already did a sealed reveal on this one. I don't have to show the box for this one. This, of course, is the recent CD reissue for the classic live album from Iron Maiden, Live After Death. And fantastic. This is a great fucking live album from Iron Maiden. I mean, this is definitely considered one of the greatest live albums of all time, especially also one of the best albums from Iron Maiden. It's definitely a classic album for sure. I'm so finally glad to have a copy of Live After Death. So, great album there. Of course, finally, next up, I just recently got this. This, of course, speaking of when it comes to new wave for British heavy metal, one of the original guitar players to submerge from the whole new wave for British heavy metal movement, and also a guitar player that's also, in many ways, is definitely associated with Iron Maiden. As, of course, is Paul Samson, or just Samson, who is best known for, of course, introducing the world to guys such as Clive Burr, and, of course, Bruce Dickinson. And this is a great box set. This, of course, is Bright Lights, the albums 1979 to 1981. This was released last year by H&E Records. And this is a great fucking set. This, of course, is all the Bruce Dickinson era. I mean, of course, we got Survivors, which didn't have Bruce Dickinson. However, it does have the versions with Bruce Dickinson on vocals as bonus tracks. Again, they did some recordings with Bruce Dickinson for these songs, which is very cool to hear. Very cool to hear. But then, of course, we got other, again, classics such as Head On, which has 2 versions. We got the original version here, and then, of course, we have the alternative Tony Platt mix, which had been unreleased for ages until this set had came out last year. And this was the first time that mix has finally seen the light of day, and it blows the fucking original mix out of the water. It blows it out of the water. It literally brings new life to an album that had something, and it just injects life into it. It's a great fucking version of it. I really dig this mix of Head On, and of course, Shock Tactics, and of course, another live recording with Bruce Dickinson, but instead of Iron Maiden, it's Samson. It's Live at Reading 1981, and classic fucking live record. That's a fucking great live album for sure. Really good stuff. I'll have to do a box set showcase on this one, and actually I'll be doing maybe one real soon. Not this Sunday though. There's nothing gonna be up on this Sunday, but eventually I will do a box set showcase on this so I can go in more in depth of this set. This is fantastic. I'll have to get some of the other Samson box sets for sure. There's plenty. There's plenty at this point. Actually, every one of this stuff has been released in box set form. So with that, there's my collection update. All you all enjoyed. Again, if you have heard most of this stuff, definitely comment in the comment section below. So until then, this is Every Thrashhead Sam out, and I'll see y'all later. Take care, everyone.